Well, I did something very stupid, and now my guitar is full of cracks. Over the winter, I left this out on a guitar stand in an unhumidified room. I was just being lazy, and now there are 2 large cracks on the soundboard. It's a terrifying sight to see. I want this never to happen to you guys. So right away, I came over to my friend, expert luthier Marshall Bernet, who's going to repair the instrument for me. And I believe we'll even get some footage of the repair process.
Yeah, I'll get tons of it.
Nice.
More than you can shake a guitar at.
Right. So you'll see that in the following clips. Also, you'll see me come back to the shop in a few weeks to pick it up and see the difference when it's actually repaired. So, Marshall, why did this happen?
Well, basically because you left it out. It got too dry, the wood shrank, and it has to go somewhere, so it went to the weakest spot in the wood. And when that cracks, you're actually going to kind of improve your guitar because you found the weak spot, and once it's glued back together, it's no longer the weak spot. You'll find another one later. Okay, and how can my friends at home avoid this problem? What's the magic thing they can do? Humidify, humidify, humidify. It doesn't matter if it's a sponge in a Ziploc bag in your case, closed up, or if it's a whole building humidifier like mine, or those 2-way packs that I really love. Anything like that will help your guitar. And feel the edges of your frets to make sure they ain't poking you.
Yeah, when you run your fingers up and down the fretboard like this, if you feel bum, this means the guitar is dry. The frets obviously don't shrink with the humidity because they're metal, but the wood does. When the wood shrinks, meaning it's dry, you'll feel the bumps. When it's swollen, when it's actually the right size, you'll feel it's smooth. So this is a good indicator. So it's so easy and cheap to humidify your guitars. I have humidifying packs in every case. I always leave the instruments in the case closed to create a little quarantined area. And then if it's in a room, you need to have a room humidifier and close your door and just let that room be quarantined. I was away and I left the instrument out and wasn't humidifying, and this was my big mistake. So I look forward to getting the guitar back, and let's now check out some shop footage of Marshall fixing up my baby.
Now, over here you can see that there is a light crack over here along the top. It's very, very minute. And then there's also one crack here up the middle. So, really, first things first, we have to get these strings off. And once we get the strings off, then we can start gluing. So now that I've got all the strings off of the guitar and all my bridge pins lined up neatly and nicely, I want to talk for a brief moment about glue. Now, for this, I'm going to be using the hot high glue, as I do always. There are other options that you can use, such as the synthetics. I don't use this stuff, and you should never use it, and if any luthier pulls out this stuff, walk out of their store right away because they don't know what they're doing. So, like I said, I'm going to use this hot animal high glue, and I've already got it mixed up. I'm not going to hold it over the guitar, so here we go. And this is ready to go. Now, I want to make sure that I've got everything ready to go before I spread the glue, because that means I have 2 minutes of working time. So it's going to go quick. What I want to do is have several plexiglass cauls, so that way whenever I'm gluing, I can see exactly what's happening and know exactly where it's going to go. I want to have several different clamping methods. In this case, I've got some double-stacked neodymium magnets kept apart, and the reason they're double-stacked is that they actually add a little bit more downforce if you add magnets to magnets, become stronger. Now, it's been about 2 weeks since he's dropped this off, which has given the top time to expand back to where it should be. And it's right at the perfect moment where the crack is almost touching back to where it's supposed to be, but maybe not quite. It's maybe a half a day off. And one of the great things about this hot high glue is that its proteins will pull the crack back together. So this is actually the perfect time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spread glue on the surface. I'm going to work it into the cracks, and I've just washed my hands, so I'm not rubbing my oil change or anything else into the cracks. I want to make sure that my hands are clean. I'm going to use a mirror on the inside, which helps me see. Weird. Well, I know what I use it for. I don't know what Brandon uses it for. Can he use a mirror? Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on, spread it in. I'm going to use the mirror to check to make sure that there are rivulets of glue coming in. And then my first course of action, since this doesn't need to be clamped across, is to get a magnet inside of here and then slide it along the top on top of this caul. And then that should hold it in place. And once I have the magnets in place, I'm going to double check to make sure, because this is a guitar without finish and, well, minimal finish. It's not like a high-tech French polish. So I want to make sure that everything is perfectly level. And if it's not, I got to take it out, get a little bit of water in there, fresh glue, and then reevaluate. With that said, here we go. First things first, I'm going to start at this crack, which starts below the bridge and runs to the tail block. And this is going to move fairly quickly. So just double checking. Here's the crack, right at the tip of my finger. Okay, working it in just to make sure. Getting my mirror inside the guitar. And actually you can see the crack fairly well, and as I work it, I'm adding a little bit of extra glue to the surface to maintain the temperature out there. And I'm watching the glue, the glue just worked its way through. So that's all we need. Quick cleanup. You don't want to leave this on the surface, especially on this rawer finish. Now I'm going to take this piece of plexi or acrylic, your choice. Very carefully make sure when you transport magnets, make sure that you transport them like this, not like this, because if they snap on you, they're bad. So I always like to take my thumbs, put it to here, and we'll walk it over here. Okay, and I like the way that that's holding in, so I'm going to come back in, and fortunately this one is being very kind to me. This one I'm going to walk it around the side, and magnets are really cool because they follow each other. So I have this bridged over, I have everything flat. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to let that one dry, and for the second crack, which is on the center seam, this one I'm actually going to use a slightly different technique, partially because I can reach it a lot better, and partially because it's a bit more closed up. I'm going to actually use my hands to push up from the underside. So I'm just kind of working the crack up and down, putting some glue onto it again. And this one, again, I'm working the glue around, making sure that I am trying to get it through. And at this point, I'm feeling on the inside of the guitar, so that way I know exactly when the glue comes through. Because once you get glue through it, you can't get more glue through it by definition, because it's just going to make a mess. Now, you could put newspaper on the inside if you're worried about this, and some techniques I will. But in this case, I'm not going to worry too much about the excess glue on the surface, but this one I do want to get a little bit of water on there, and because my glue is in a hot water bath, I was just able to steal a little bit of that warm water, which gives me the time to work. Now I'm going to put my other piece over here. Magnet on. One more. Hopefully it doesn't snap against each other, because this is really tight. And there we go. Just like that, these cracks are done. For now. I'm going to let them dry overnight at the bare minimum. And then at that point, I'm going to be able to take a look at everything that I've done to make sure that it's nice and level. I don't expect it to not be. And then I'm just going to clean the surface, and after that I'll show Brandon when he gets back.
Okay, we are back at the shop. Marshall has done the repair. Marshall, I can't wait to see the guitar.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need my baby back.
Are we going to sing the song?
Which one?
I want my baby back.
Oh, that one.
I stopped there so that way he doesn't get demonetized.
Yeah, I don't want a copyright strike. Hello, my old friend.
All right.
I've been on tour for 3 weeks, and Marshall was kind enough to fix this when I was gone. That's incredible, Marshall. You can't even see the crack anymore.
No, and you actually did the best thing possible.
What's that?
Which was, it cracked, you called me, and you didn't touch it.
Right.
The biggest thing that people do wrong is that they take their finger, they lick and go, it's cracked, and then they keep on touching it.
Okay.
And rubbing your greasy, dirty mitts over it is not going to make it less cracked.
Right.
So by not touching it and rushing it over to me right away, you made sure that I could do an invisible repair.
The top, when it cracks, is terrifying because the light hits it right and you just see this glaring black line. And I thought the thing, it looks as if it's like not fixable. It's like this thing is broken forever. And it's amazing how now it just looks like one seamless piece of wood. I'm excited to hear it again. Okay, now it sounds like the guitar it sounded like.
Now, you might actually notice that it sounds better than it did previously, because the crack has now identified the weak spot of the wood, and it is now even more together.
Interesting. It sounds fantastic. I really love the sound. The fretboard looks so shiny.
Yeah.
Did you shine the frets?
Oh, yeah, I breathed on it. Yeah, luthier breath. It's-
Wow. What's your going rate for luthier breath these days?
Oh, not enough.
Well, Marshall, you did it again.
Why,
Thank you,
thank
my
you.
friend. I appreciate it. Oh my God, my baby is back. You guys, if you break your guitars, if you, in my case, made a humidifying mistake in the winter and it just sat out of its case for too long, so take Marshall's advice seriously. Just bring it to a luthier. It'll be like it never happened. So I'm very grateful. Marshall, thank you. Do you want to say anything to the YouTube crowd before we go?
Absolutely. Make sure that your luthier uses hide glue. Use promo code Brandon for $500 off a new build from mine. Please like, subscribe, and follow me on my channel too.
Yeah, Marshall has a great channel with lots of cool information about building guitars, repairing guitars, Q&As, so please check that out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.